Fillets and chamfers are used to soften edges. And we do this for a number of different reasons. For one, simply softening any very sharp edges for handling purposes. If you're handling a part with sharp metal edges, obviously there's some concern for injury, cuts, and so on. So softening edges will help reduce that. But in addition to this, at very sharp corners and edges, we find that there is an increase in stress concentrations. So at sharp corners or edges, a component or part may be more likely to break or fail as there's more concentrated stress within that area. Finally, for industrial designers, we use fillets or chamfers to soften edges specifically for aesthetic reasons. It might just look a little bit nicer to us, in addition to reducing those stress concentrations and sharp edges. So let's take a quick look at recreating this bracket component and then chamfering or filleting the edges. So I can recreate this bracket with a fairly simple sketch, just like this. And notice this is actually 3 closed sketches. We have the bottom portion, which would be the base of the bracket, this vertical portion here, as well as the circle, which might be the whole cutout in my case. So what I could do is I could just select the bottom base and this top extrusion here, and I'm actually not going to select the circular hole as I don't want to extrude material there. And I'll jump into a 3D view here, and I can just tap and drag to extrude something like this, say 100 millimeters or so. And then what I'd actually like to do is maybe cut away or remove a portion of that top part of the bracket as well. And I can do this actually using the exact same sketch. So if I just tap to select this top portion of my sketch here now, and I can remove a portion of that as well here. So now that I have the basic shape of this simple bracket here, let's take a look at applying some fillets or some chamfers. It's a very simple, nice, easy process in Shapr3D. I can just tap to select whatever edge I may want to soften, and then just tap and drag on the arrows again, and depending on the direction, I may get a chamfer if I'm throwing in a negative direction there. Or if I drag in the opposite direction, I'll get a positive value and a fillet. So notice just by pulling in the different directions, this will automatically change from a fillet to a chamfer. And of course I can tap to give the exact values as well. So let's say 20, and again if I throw in that negative value, that will turn into a chamfer. And just the same if I switch that to now a positive value, that will switch to a fillet. I have a number of additional options available to me for my chamfers and my fillets. For example, if I'd like to round a number of edges all at once, I can just tap to select, let's grab all of these outer edges here. So most likely I don't want to do this one by one by one, so of course I can just multi-select a number of edges and apply my chamfer or fillet to all of these edges together. I'll throw in the value of 20 there again. So now I've thrown on that fillet for all of my outer edges here. And a few additional options I have are any tangent edges. So for example, this edge here is tangent with this edge and really all of the other edges around the base of this bracket here. So if I just tap one of those edges and add a fillet here, notice that it's adding that fillet to all of my tangent edges. So again, this can just be another huge time saver, as I may not want to select a number of edges individually. It's doing all this for me for every tangent edge. Another very useful option for creating chamfers and fillets, I'll just undo here. I can tap to select an entire face. And once I have that face selected, I could now tap to select a particular edge. And now once I chamfer or fillet, I can see that this is being applied to all edges on that specific face. So again, just a huge time saver here to throw in fillets on a whole number of edges all at once. So now we can see the process of adding our fillets here is quite a nice, simple process. And I have a number of options to add a whole bunch of fillets all at once. In the next lesson, we'll take a look at direct editing.